All right, we are live. What's happening, everybody? Super stoked. Got another interview here for you. I just love interviewing rock stars. And I've got someone real special for you today. And this is a guy that I've known for a while and several years now. And I remember when I first kind of got going online, I actually, before I had any success, I remember seeing this guy and I remember thinking, wow, how cool. The guy's like a snowboarder, he's like living in the mountains. And I'm like, I remember, looking up to this guy at one point. I still do, Adam. I still do, man. That's okay. But guys, I have Adam Chandler here, buddy of mine, man. What's up, Adam?
Yeah, man. I'm excited to be here. Excited about this interview and to share some insights with your people from my 7 years of experience. This month is actually my 7-year anniversary in home business. I started my first company 7 years ago this month.
That's amazing. Like you were in your first company. You went full time in your first company.
Yeah, I went full time in my first year. Actually, I haven't had a real job in about 6 years.
That's awesome. Dude, the thing about your story, and I want you to tell this because I think you've probably told this, but for people that haven't heard it, please tell us the story about how you were replaced with a wooden sign, because to me that is like epic, man.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I haven't actually shared that story in a while, so I'm excited. Yeah. So I don't know if you've ever been let go from a job. I've been let go from several, but if you have been let go from a job, I really doubt that you've been let go by an inanimate object, or that you've been replaced by an inanimate object like I have. So I was working at a ski resort in Killington, Vermont, which is near where I went to college. I grew up in Vermont, by the way, and I was working in this, it was actually for a snowmobile tour company. They did snowmobile tours around the mountain, and I worked in a little information booth at the bottom of the mountain. So skiers would come down off the mountain, and they would, come into my little information booth wanting to go snowmobiling, and I would say, no, you got to go down the road. This is just the information booth. So if you want the 1 hour tour, you got to go 1 mile down the road. If you want the 2 hour tour, you got to go 2 miles down the road. Here, take a brochure. So one day the boss comes in and he's holding this sign, and he says, Adam, you're fired. Here's your replacement.
Oh my gosh!
and the sign said, 1 hour tour, go 1 hour down, or 1 mile down the road. 2 hour tour, go 2 miles down the road. Here, take a brochure. Oh
my gosh, man.
So I had so little, when we talk about value, right? About increase, you want to do better in business, you've got to increase your value. So I literally went from where I possessed so little value that I was able to be replaced by a wooden board, a wooden sign, right?
That's such a crazy story, man.
To increasing my value to the point where at least a board couldn't do what I currently do.
Right. That's good to know, dude. You've increased it beyond the board level. Right. So that's good. That's awesome, man. And I think that's just like, that's what I love about the home-based business industry, man, is that it literally affords anybody who really has no value to offer to increase in value, get better, and go out and make a great living and build a legacy, quite frankly.
For sure.
And it gives the little guy that opportunity. So that's awesome. So Adam, what have you been up to? I mean, I know we've known each other for a while. We hang out at events all the time. We get together, hang out, have a beer or something like that at the events and chat. And I know, you've been really rocking lately. I remember last time we got together and you were telling me you're the top producer in your company. And I was like, dang, dude, what are you doing? So talk to us, like, what's been up? Like, what have you been up to, man?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. 2014 was a real breakthrough year for me. Let me just tell you, back up maybe just a little bit. So I actually went from making $19,000 in 2009, which was like my first full year in this industry. And that wasn't from the business. That was from the business plus other stuff that I was doing. I mean, I made $19,000 in 2009. 2 years later, I had my first ever 6-figure year in business. So it was I just crossed the $100,000 mark. So it was a 500% income increase in 2 years, which was really cool. And then I got a little lazy, I just, I don't know, you get you build up some residual income, and you're just like, wee, and things start to dip, and that's what happened to me. I mean, I kind of learned some lessons the hard way there. So my income between 2011 was a 6-figure year, 2012 was less than that, 2013 was less again, right? Yeah. And then 2014, I doubled my income.
Wow, that's awesome.
From 2013 to 2014, and I was still, even though my income had dipped, I was still making really good money. And then 2014 hit, and I joined this new company. I was really excited. Lots of really cool things. I was really, I promoted it with conviction. I think that was one of the biggest things, is that I really saw it, and I saw the value, and that's really sell something that you believe in, right? Because you're only going to do well with something that you really believe is going to benefit people, I feel. And I really saw the value, and I promoted with conviction. And I think between February and March of last year, I think I signed up like maybe 60 people into that business. And then throughout the entire year, about 166 people to be exact. Wow. 5,811 leads, 166 new members, and that brought me to the top of the company. I became the #1 producer in the company. So,
wow,
yeah,
that's awesome. I have to say, like, I remember kind of like at one point, I remember seeing your Facebook, and I remember like seeing pictures of you like snowboarding and off vacationing, and then I'd get an email from you. I'm like, hey, you just posted 20 minutes ago. I'm like, this guy's doing something.
Right.
I remember it. Like, I remember seeing you like, hey, I'm off skiing, and I'm participating in this launch, huh? Right. I just thought it was cool to like watch you. That's one of the things I have to say, Adam, that's been inspiring, how you've inspired me in a lot of ways, because I love the fact that you live a life.
Yeah.
You're one of those entrepreneurs that's like, look, I'm here to make a lot of money, build a great business, but I'm here to have a life too. Yeah. And I love that. I love that. I think that's really what it's all about. Why not make a lot of money and have fun in the process?
Seriously.
So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me, like, you do a lot of traffic stuff. I mean, you're a traffic and leads kind of guy, and I see you out there marketing and stuff too. And like, what have you been up to in the lead generation area? Like, what have you been doing?
Yeah. Well, I basically, and because of the video series that I've got going right now, I mean, I've really gotten very clear on this stuff, because I share it in the video series. Yeah. Is that there was basically five strategies that I've used to generate those 5,811 leads and recruit those 166 reps and become the #1 producer in the company, right? So those are Facebook ads, in which a lot of what I like a lot of the success that I had last year from Facebook had to do with stuff that I learned from your course.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, from the doing some of the video stuff, and then one of the tips that you shared at the Ultimate Branding Mastermind that we were at together in February. I used that in a lot of my Facebook video ads, and just really saw a major improvement in my Facebook ads and how they were converting and everything. So so that was awesome. But yeah, Facebook ads #1. Content marketing and social media. So I kind of group those two together.
Sure.
Right. So content and social media, Facebook ads, Twitter ads, which I think that Twitter is like one of the best places for native advertising.
Yeah. Wow.
So because of the viral, exposure, and it's like, if just simply saying, please retweet, will get a bunch of people retweeting your stuff. And, you do a little bit of paid advertising, and then, to get the ball rolling,
right.
And then it can go viral from there. And then, so that was #3. Number 4, solo ads. Done really well with solo ads. And I've also, I've lost money with solo ads too, but I've and that's a thing that people need to understand about paid advertising, is that you're going to have campaigns that are going to do well, and you're going to have campaigns that are going to fail. And I think the reason why I've been so successful with it is because I've had more failed campaigns than just about everybody.
I always tell people when it comes to paid advertising, it's the 80-20 rule.
It really is.
20% of your advertising will bring in 80% of your revenue. I mean, it really works that way.
Yeah, exactly. And I tested a lot of solo ads last year, and like I said, some of them lost money, some of them did well, and then some of them did really, really well. And I actually got on like continuity. Like if I made an offer to a solo ad vendor, right, and it did well, then I would reach out to them and I would say, hey, what kind of discount can you give me if we get on a weekly plan together where I pay you every single week? And I had one guy where it was like clockwork. Like every single time I spent, like, I think it was like $140 a week that I was spending. And every single time I got 3 signups. Every single time I did this, I got 3 signups into my business. And
that's awesome.
I totally, on the front end, totally covered all the advertising costs. And it was just like, clockwork. So awesome. Yeah. And then the final strategy, well, I had media buys, which is like, banner ads and stuff. And so, so let me tell you a really funny story. So I did a media buying strategy where I went onto this site called buysellads.com.
Oh, yeah.
And I went on there, and this is just like an advertising, community kind of thing, right? And where you can look at different websites that they have on there where you can buy banners and other things on all these different websites. And I just put in the keyword MLM to see what came up. And the one thing that came up for MLM was Rob Forrest's face. Right? Right. And it's like, and the offer was for $20, you could make your offer, your offer to Rob's 42,000 Twitter followers. Right? So for $20. So I did that a few times. One of the times I did that, I spent $20. I generated, I think it was like about 20 leads. One of them joined my company, and then ended up buying some packages that ended up being worth about a little over $1,000 in commissions to me. So from $20 spent on advertising, I was able to get back 1,000. So that's a 50 times ROI. Just from a little $20 and because of Rob, like that dude is just everywhere. So he's got his hands in so many different things.
It's like I'm serious. Like I could do a search on like Brazilian purple monkey business, and Rob Forr's like, how to raise Brazilian purple monkeys, and Rob's like, how you doing? This is Rob. Right. Seriously, man, the guy's like the entrepreneur's entrepreneur, man.
Right. Yeah, and then the last strategy was what I call alternative search engine marketing, or alternative pay-per-click. So it's like YouTube pay-per-click, Bing, Yahoo pay-per-click. There's all kinds of other pay-per-click search advertising portals out there that a lot of which I had never even heard of. So that was kind of the final strategy.
That's awesome.
So those were the 5 strategies that allowed me to do that.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I'll tell you right now. This was a big thing for me, a big revelation, like about 2 years ago. I had my business. I'd built a 6-figure business, and it was all wrapped up in YouTube marketing. I was just doing all YouTube, getting tons of leads, traffic, sales, all that good stuff. And I remember that little voice in my head started saying, you need to start diversifying your traffic. You're doing great, but you shouldn't, you shouldn't be like focused all on only one. You need to get it diversified, especially from a business point of view, because you know, the internet's changing constantly, you know what I mean? It's like learning new avenues to generate traffic is important. And I love that's what you've done is you've mastered like these different traffic strategies. And what it does is it allows you to diversify your business where, you know, you're not so wrapped up in one that if it went down, you couldn't continue to thrive, you know? And that's ultimately what it is. And even if like I have my hands on several other things, my big focus is Facebook, but I'll tell you right now, if my Facebook account went down and I couldn't advertise anymore on Facebook, do you know what happened? I'd shift to another one that I already have the knowledge on.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Because your business is your livelihood.
Right.
So it's like you can't rely on that. You can't put something as important as your income and, you know, your family's security on you know, rolling the dice with one traffic strategy.
Right.
It just can't happen when traffic and leads is such a huge part of what we do, such a vital part of what we do. That's just smart business.
It is, you know, and even if like, you know, a big thing is I tell a lot of people like stick to one thing till you master it and then move to another. But here's one of the things that I believe that I've done that's helped me. I do focus typically on one thing until I get it. But in the meantime, I'm also going through other trainings and other things that help me get an understanding of other traffic strategies and what's going on out in the market so that I know where I could potentially go as I start to diversify where I'm getting traffic at. And I've already got like at least 2 or 3 other ones right now that I'm beginning to work on. Yep. As I'm still working Facebook because Facebook's so powerful. But that's what I love. I love that you're very diversified like that. And because I remember, man, like when I was doing YouTube, you know, heavy hardcore, and I still do some, but I remember just seeing your ads everywhere, man. It's like how I got 19 leads on Facebook in 6 hours or something like that. Yeah. You know, so it was pretty powerful stuff. But
yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. That's one thing that I've learned, especially in the last couple of years, is that in business, diversity equals stability.
Yeah.
And then in video too of the video series that, you know, I'm sure we'll be sharing with them in a little bit.
Sure, absolutely.
In video too, I actually talk about when I first came online, everybody was doing Google AdWords. And Google was like the traffic beast, and you know, people were creating fortunes with Google AdWords. And you know, it was just such like the thing to do that everybody had all their eggs in that one basket. And when Google decided, all of a sudden one day Google said, "Hey, we're not going to allow anybody who's marketing anything make money online, anything related to MLM, home-based business. You guys are done," right? And people lost. I watched, and I think that's one of the reasons why I've been successful and I've been able to, you know, withstand the test of time in this industry, was that I saw that happen, and I saw people's businesses get wiped out. Yeah. And I learned, and then, you know, smart marketers learned some very, very powerful lessons from watching that happen. You know, that you can't put all your eggs in one basket when it comes to something as important as your traffic and your lead generation.
Well, you know, it's funny that you bring that up because I remember there were some huge players at that time.
Right.
And soon as that Google slap came, I was like, where'd all these guys go?
Yeah, where are they now?
Where are they now?
Yeah,
you know, we should do like an old, like, you know, VH1, where are they now? You know, because honestly, I don't see any of those guys anymore.
Right.
And I know those guys were building like multiple 7-figure businesses. I remember hearing a guy share a story where they were paying $24 a click. And they were still profitable.
Wow.
I mean, 24. Can you imagine every time somebody clicks your ad, you're just tossing $24.
Oh my God.
but they were still profitable, you know, and because Google AdWords was so powerful. But as soon as that cash cow was gone, man, a lot of these guys, I've seen a few people here and there, and they're like, I'm just doing Google AdWords for, I'm consulting now. Right. You know, but you know, it's pretty powerful, but it's so true. And kind of saw this with YouTube last year. You know, a lot of people are getting traffic and leads. Thank God I got my YouTube channel got shut down for ridiculous reason. It was like a dumb video from like years prior.
Right.
But I lost a lot of leads because of that. But I was so focused at that point on getting other traffic sources that it didn't affect me. You know, my income never went down. I was still, you know, doing that. So it's definitely smart and it's definitely prudent to diversify your business. Even if you don't spend massive amounts of time learning something, at least start to familiarize yourself with other traffic strategies so that at the drop of a dime, you can shift if you need to.
Right.
So very powerful, but definitely, you know, I know you've launched some videos, which I think are great, by the way. I went through the first two and I think they're amazing. Yeah. You've done a great job and I love the concepts that you're bringing forth. And I really think that people will get a lot out of it for sure. And you got a really cool Facebook group that's been really active, man. Yeah. I'm stoked on that. So I personally am proud to know you, man. And it's been great to get to know you and, you know, see the value that you bring to the marketplace for sure. And, you know, I know that people will get a lot of value out of this video series. I highly suggest you check it out. This is a blog post. I'm going to have the link right below. Check it out and go through them. And I'm telling you, Adam is the real deal. I've known you for a while, man, and you've been one of those guys that you've been around longer than me, and you've stayed full time, and that says something, you know, and that's a big deal. And I like that pen you're holding there, man. Yeah,
you know, I was actually I'm like I've got the pen in my hand, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm like, my Mark Harbert pen.
Right. Dude, I'm serious. Like when I go to live the dream, I've got bagfuls I'm taking.
I know, dude. Will you send me some more? I would know. I mean, these are like I've actually I've gone through a few of these. I'm pretty sure this is my last one. And I use it a lot, so I don't think it's gonna, you know, last for very much longer. So, so if you could send me a few more, I would really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely, dude. I'll send you some for sure, man. Absolutely. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like I've gotten so many comments like, dude, these pens are awesome, man. Right. But they really are. I mean, they really are. I mean, like, you know, I got some right here, man. I'm not. I got them right here. I actually have a couple different kinds of them, but yeah, here's one right here, man. I use them all the time, man. So cool stuff. Yeah. But yeah, man, it's great to hang with you. And, you know, Adam's around the industry too, guys. I mean, he's at events, you know, he's always around. So make sure you guys introduce yourself to him and, you know, get out to events, man. That's where the magic happens. But for sure, check out his video series. Guys, getting more traffic is never a bad thing. It's one of those things, and it's one of those skills that you really want to hone if you are, you know, focused on building an online business. You know, it's just one of those things. There's many moving parts. No question. I'm sure you'll agree to this, Adam. There's many moving parts, but when you're trying to build online, the first major piece of that puzzle is traffic and leads, and the rest, getting on the phone, talking, prospect, you can't really hone that in and work on that until you got a lot of people to talk to, you know? And I always found that funny. People are like, you got to talk to more people. I'm like, I want to.
Right.
You know? But I don't want to go out and chase them either. Yeah. You know? So it's
you know, in Perry Marshall's 80-20 sales and marketing.
Yeah.
You familiar with that book?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he's got like a whole, like, these are like the 7 principles of 80-20 marketing or whatever, or like leveraged business. And it was like one of them was like no cold calling ever. Yeah. It's like you've got to be, you know, you've got to do things to position yourself before you talk to them. Otherwise, it's just a complete waste of time.
Yeah, it really is. And you know, it's not to say prospecting doesn't work, but the reality of it is it's so much easier when you do things in a way that brings the wall down.
Exactly.
Because immediately and I've called cold leads before, and immediately you get on the phone, the wall is up.
Brick wall. Yeah.
A huge wall, and they're immediately like waiting for the pitch.
Yeah.
You know, and when you do it the way that we talk about, the way Adam talks about, the whole goal is to bring that wall down. Then you get on the phone, and there's very little resistance.
Exactly.
And it's just a totally different phone call. You know?
Big time.
It's awesome, man. I love it. Well, Adam, I appreciate you, brother. I absolutely appreciate it. I know we're going to be doing a webinar here soon too, guys, just to let you know. So check out the video series he's put together with the link below. But also keep your eyes out. We're going to be doing a webinar together here next week sometime, man.
Yeah, really excited for that, Mark. And this was had a great time on this interview. Thanks for having me out. And
yeah, for sure.
Exposing you to your people.
Yeah, awesome. All right, guys. Well, you guys are awesome. Great to have you out. Thanks for coming. Leave us a comment below. Let me know if you enjoyed it. And check out the video series, the link below. And we'll be sending out some information soon on the webinar. All right. Appreciate you guys. Adam, you rock, man.
Thanks, Mark. See you guys.